Just like when I was a little kid, you all, I need to tell you all this. When you're a little kid and you do stuff for the first time, this is the first time that I've ever done this. And because every time I do something for the first time, my mother comes to see how I do it for the first time. So I thank God for supportive parents. Feel me on that? I truly thank God for supportive parents. Herman, Master Sergeant, Herman told me that. Y'all, it's so funny. Okay. He told me, how long did you tell me I had? 2.5 minutes? 3 minutes. Master Sergeant. Mack and I go back 39 years. 39 years ago, I met Mack Woodward when I was a freshman in high school. And let me tell you about the Mack that I remember 39 years ago. Mack had a real strong presence. Once he opened his mouth, he got your attention. He was very personable. Everybody knew. The teachers loved Mack Woodward, okay? Everybody, he stood out in our class. You know, Mack knew what he wanted day one at Colonel White High School. He knew what he was going to be in life day one at Colonel White High School. At 17, Mack stood up on a platform. He prepared long speeches to tell everybody about his ability to be a president. Long speeches. We didn't have cell phones, so we could text and talk to everybody. After that, he had real longs. And then I can remember one time, I don't know where we were going. It was a class trip or I don't know. We were on the bus. But everybody was ready to go but Mack, and he would come. Oh, let me tell you about this. Mack dressed the part in 1973. Is that when we started school? Yeah. Oh, by the way, my Colonel White alumni from class is 77. Please stand up. Please stand up. And what was I talking about? On this side of 50, we got to sing. On this side of 50, we were going on the trip, and Mack, as usual, held the bus up. And he liked to explain to people in very detailed ways why it is that they needed to wait on him. Mack would come to school, you all, with a bow tie, a plaid jacket, and a doggone briefcase, okay? I was talking to one of my classmates this morning, and she was saying, and you know what, I had him for gym, and I believe Mack had that briefcase on with his Mack loved to talk about himself. He had a gift of gab. Yeah, I'm telling you. Mack was, I'm supposed to say good things today, right? Let me tell you, Mack was conceited. Mack was arrogant. Self-absorbed. Mack was a pain in the butt sometimes. Mack was the center of his own word, okay? And we put up with that for 4 long years in school. You know, my classmates are here to tell you the truth. But Mack said it here. I found this morning. A classmate said something. This is what Mack Woodward said. I, Mack Woodward, being of sound mind and body, hereby bequeath to all underclassmen of Colonel White my superb ability to make friends, my never-ending vocabulary, my outstanding leadership abilities. Your daddy said this, okay? I can't see as well as I used to on this side of 50. My affectionate ways, and most of all, my ability to hold a conversation. These qualities and others like them should prepare every one of you to become just as great a senior as I am. I'm going to tell the story today. Doggone it. Okay. We found out a few months ago that Mack was sick, and we hadn't seen Mack in 15 years, and so Shirley suggested that we try to plan something sooner because he probably wouldn't make it to our reunion. And so we started planning an event that Mack came to in November. And the thing about that, because we had planned that event, Mack came and spent 40 minutes with us. And people came. There's some people here today from Richmond, Virginia, Kansas City. She got in at 2 o'clock, drove all night long just to be here for this. Drove all night long here, okay? And so I'm telling their story. And what Mack did for us that very day, that was a Saturday after Thanksgiving, is that he brought us all together. We're family now. We hang out together, we eat lunch, we eat breakfast, we support one another because of your son. He brought us, it is so important to him about family reunions and things like that. It was so important to him about that reunion. Mack was loved by everyone. A few days ago, I asked my mom to find a story. My dad usually tells that, that's probably why she came here to see if I was doing the story right, that my daddy does at his eulogies. And he says it for like family members and close friends. And so I thought it would be appropriate for Mack. The story's told about a traveling salesman who was selling shoes out of his car down south. He was having a lot of problems with the body of his car. Someone ran into the car and bent the fenders. He called his boss man and told him about the fenders being bent up, and the car was looking bad. But the boss would ask him how the motor was, and the salesman would say, the motor is fine. So the boss would say, see, if you get the fenders fixed, then the shocks went bad, and the same thing happened. He called his boss and told him about the shocks again, and he would ask how the motor was. And the salesman repeated, the motor was good, then got the shocks fixed. Next, the windows were broken, but the boss would ask him how the motor was. And the salesman would say, the motor is fine. So the boss would say, see, if you get the windows fixed, okay? Next, the tires were flattening. He called his boss and told him about the tires. And again, he would ask how the motor was. And the salesman repeated, the motor was good. Finally, the boss told him he was sending someone to junk the body and to bring the motor home. I suspect that the life of Mack Woodward was like that. He was having a lot of medical problems. One thing after another seemed to go wrong with his body, and he would pray, and he would pray, and he would pray, and he would pray. The answer would come back, my grace is sufficient, hang on a little longer. Then Mack seemed to be having problems with his legs. And each time he would pray, and the answer would come back, the body is falling apart, but how is the soul? And Mack would answer, the soul is fine. Then Mack seemed to be having problems with his stomach, and he would pray, and the answer came back, the body is falling apart, how is the soul? And Mack would answer, the soul is fine. I believe on February 5th that the master came back and Mack said, I don't feel like I'm going to get any better, my legs, stomach, etc. Don't look like the doctor is able to do me any good. The answer came back, the body is falling apart, Mack, but how is the soul? And Mack answered and said, the soul is fine because my soul is anchored in the Lord, okay? I believe, y'all, the master said, don't worry, son, don't you worry no more. Your soul is fine, and I'm going to dump that old body. I'm going to leave that old body down there anyway, and I'm going to bring the soul home. It is my personal belief that Gabriel was running around in heaven looking for an angel, y'all, to lead, because he needs somebody that was bossy like Mack was sometimes. It was looking for somebody to lead, and he was really getting frustrated. So he went to the Father and said, Lord, there's so much work to do down there, so many souls to save. We need an angel that can talk to people and get people to do things that they probably wouldn't want to do, okay? We need somebody that's full of leadership qualities. Somebody got the smile. Y'all see his smile? We need somebody like that, charismatic. And so who can spread your word quickly, because Satan is busy. He's so busy these days it ain't even funny. And God said, relax, relax. He said, I got a young man in mind. Yes. He's been faithful on earth to his wife, to his mama, to his daddy, to his brothers, to his sister, to his children. He has been so faithful here. He said he's created a business on his own. He's made these organizations. He's brought people together. He's changed lives. That young man down there has done that. He said he'd be a great asset in heaven. He said, get your jacket on, Gabriel, because I'm going to need you to go on down to Georgia, okay? Because Mack Woodward is waiting down for you. He's got his house in order. He called his families in and said all his goodbyes. She said she was praying for him. He said, but I had to wait on one final request, Sergeant Master. I had to wait on the Super Bowl to end. I had to wait on the Super Bowl to end. And 5 minutes, 10 minutes after the Super Bowl ended on February 5th, Mack C. Woodward said, Father, into your arms I commit my spirit. Yes. On behalf of my classmates and myself, we thank the Lord for all the wonderful memories your son gave to us. He was our class president, by the way. I forgot to tell you all that. We thank the Lord for him. He said those speeches, and he did win that election. We want to leave. We know that he will leave a legacy of love and peace, and we're going to spread it. We're going to continue what Mack C. Woodward started. He was a kind, loving, giving person. We love you back. We thank God for the time you spent here in our lives. The Colonel White class of 1977.